support Roland Martin Unfiltered, be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. All right, y'all, you know what time it is.
No charcoal grills are allowed.
I'm white. I got you, huh?
Illegally selling water without a permit
on my property.
Whoa! Hey!
You don't live here.
I'm uncomfortable.
All right, we do not condone violence, any violence whatsoever. But the moment somebody touch you, the law says that's self-defense. This woman in this video, the white woman, is a Mississippi elections commissioner. I think she gonna think twice the next time she try to touch a black woman. Roll it.
Because ever since I've been standing here, y'all been
Ain't nobody, ain't no
I
y'all.
even gave you.
I just woke up. I just said something to you. Don't get in your truck before you get smacked. Now, go on now. I'm asking you to get out of my face.
I'm asking you to quit pointing.
Get
in
your
my
hand.
face.
Get out of my face, lady.
Come on, Pearl. Come on, Pearl. Come on, Pearl. Come on, Pearl.
Yeah,
She
stop.
did
Yeah,
it.
come on, Pearl. Come on, Pearl. Stop. Get her ass to that truck. Goddamn.
Watch it.
She started.
No, I didn't.
Ms. McClain, you started that, McClain. You walked up in her face.
I asked her what she said. And when you record this, you make sure you get the whole thing and don't slice it.
I ain't gonna slice it.
You will. And I'm pressing charges.
Well, you walked up in her face. We got everything
She
recorded.
said something.
We
and I
got
asked
everything
her.
recorded, Ms.
I don't
McClain.
care. It's always one way with y'all.
But y'all, who are y'all?
You and
Who
anybody
are y'all?
else. You and anybody else with a phone.
Have a good day.
Oh, I will when she gets arrested.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
We don't have any confrontations out here.
I ain't got no confrontation, Ms. Brown.
Well, what's the
You
problem?
stood in my truck. You won't stay over there. You're bound and determined to get in my way. And she made me.
Man, I don't know what she's talking about. She walked up into this lady's face.
Yeah.
Walked way over here
I
to her
walked over
face.
there to see what she was
She's been
saying.
over there off and on all morning.
Even gave her
Well,
the
I ain't
damn
have-
sign.
I ain't got nothing to do with that.
How you gonna run for something where you clown?
You are the commissioner.
Because I ain't never used like clown around like you.
She got it in her face.
Clown, how you still got your ass whooped this way up here?
Come on here.
Hey.
Eric, I keep trying to tell these folk. That y'all. She like,
You know that's
Sarah?
Erica's cousin, right? You know that's Erica's cousin.
Listen, the Southern roots run deep. And let me tell you, you run up on a sister like me, you asking for everything I'm going to give you. And this is what white supremacy wants to, they're going to miss. They're going to miss being able to just run up on black people and where you going, girl? Where you going, boy? Show me your papers. They're definitely going to miss this time where when they were walking into a building, it was, oh, let me get out of the way. And those kind of things that have just been passed down. So I'm really interested to see. I was just looking up to see if my brother Jamar Walter, who was running against the white lady that got our ass whooped, to see if he had won that election race. So much respect and hope he does in fact win. But this is the kind of stuff that we're pushing back against, and that, you know, really that a person that runs up as the fight is over, then immediately runs to the black man and say, well, what you do to Miss Sherry? Like, all that kind of like, listen.
Now, Miss Sarah, Miss Sarah, you done started that, Miss Sarah. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, at Seek.com, want to thank them for being a partner with Roland Martin Unfiltered. Mary Spiel, the founder of this Black-owned virtual reality company. You can watch their content at Seek.com, CEEK.com. This is one of the headsets that you can use. This virtual reality headset. Drop your phone right into here. Look at that content, that VR content on their site. Other 360-degree video puts you right there up close. And so you just pop it on like this, and then you're able literally to just sit here and put yourself in the room and see everything that's around you 360 degrees. Now, if you listen to music, folks, you can check out the music on their Seek.com headphones. These right here, folks, are 360-degree 4D headphones. The bass on these things are absolutely amazing. Surround sound, so literally when you're listening to it, the sound actually is around your whole head. Again, created by a sister. If you want to get the headset for the music or the VR headset, simply use this promo code RMVIP2020. RMVIP2020. Christmas is coming up. Some great gifts. In fact, my birthday in 9 days. So I'm just giving y'all a hint. So use a promo code RMVIP2020 and go to Seek.com. And again, we appreciate them being partners with us here at Roland Martin Unfiltered. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. I know y'all also saw this video here. Now y'all know she I got her cell phone number, her email. Paula White been avoiding me. Did y'all see her at that prayer rally for praying for Donald Trump? Lord, go ahead, y'all. Watch this here.
This ain't the one with the cat in it.
Hold on, just wait.
Strike and strike and strike and strike and strike until you have victory. For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike the ground, for you will give us victory, God. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of shouting and singing. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of an abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of an abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. The Lord says it is done. The Lord says it is done. The Lord says it is done. For I hear victory, 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 victory in the corridors of heaven. In the corridors of heaven, victory, 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 victory. For angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched right now. Hamanda aka ata raka teda baka sanda ata ambo osa kata rite eke banda ata rike didi ashata. For angels have even been dispatched from Africa right now. Africa right now. Africa right now. From Africa right now. They're coming here. They're coming here. In the name of Jesus. From South America. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. From Africa. From South
So the angels from Africa are coming. But I thought Trump called them shithole countries. So I mean, so now all of a sudden, yeah, they coming. Oh, they come.
They take me away. They coming to take me away.
They coming for you now, y'all. There have been some absolutely hilarious remixes. Greg mentioned one of them. Here it is.
Even dispatched from Africa right now. Africa right now. Africa right now. From Africa right now. They're coming here. They're coming here. In the name of Jesus. From South America. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here.
All right, they got some. Hold up, I'm looking for. Is this the one I'm looking for? Okay, watch this.
Until you have victory. For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike, 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 and 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 strike, until you have victory. Until you have victory. For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike, strike, strike. I hear a sound.
Oh, hold up. It's another one I saw that I just thought was just, oh my God. Is this the one here? Is this one? How about this one here?
For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike the ground, for you will give us victory, God. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound
Y'all, I'm telling
Roland, you gotta Roland. I just sent you one. This one is lit though. It's doing a lot of heavy lifting to get a white woman who's on the 1 and the 3, on the 2 and the 4.
All right, hold on. Let me.
This one is good.
Right.
This one is good.
Okay, let me check. Okay, all right, because you sent to me. Okay, I got to send to via email because I'm on the iPad. You send to the text on my phone. Hold on, I'm gonna get it. Hold on, y'all. My God, these videos are funny. Let's see.
She actually reminded me of, remember when Jeremiah Wright kind of got his little digs in on Obama after Obama did his big race speech.
Yeah.
And he talked about how white people clap on the one.
Oh no, that was actually he gave that speech at the Detroit NAACP Freedom Fund dinner. I was sitting on the dais. I was literally 4 seats down from him. That was a trip. That was a trip there, y'all. So this is the one that Reese just sent me. Go.
And strike and strike and strike and strike and strike and strike until you have victory. For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike the ground, for you will give us victory, God. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of shouting and singing. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of an abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of an abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. The Lord says it is done. Done. It is done. The Lord says 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 it is victory, 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 victory. I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of victory. Victory, 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 victory. I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of victory. It is done. 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 The Lord says 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 it is done. For I hear victory, 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 victory in the corridors of heaven. In the corridors of heaven, victory, 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 victory.
I got my dance already.
See, they're gonna accuse y'all of all being buck dancing sellouts. But here's the thing: we should take a minute to celebrate the fact that we still here. We cannot be killed, and we are going to win, and that includes everybody. So let's dance. Let's dance for a minute.
Hey.
We're gonna ball up our fist in a minute after this, but let's dance. That was funny.
Hey, I'm just like, hey, you know what, y'all? Go ahead, Reese.
Listen, it is done. And y'all can stay mad about it, but let me tell you something. I honestly, I don't know how much of a disincentive violence is for white people, but it can at least stop them in their tracks. So good on Miss Pearl, because Miss Pearl said, go on somewhere, go on now. People think that older, I've heard, we are not like our ancestors, you'll catch these hands. Our ancestors have the hands. Our elders have the hands. Okay, Miss Pearl can give you a beat down, so don't sleep on Miss Pearl. And Sherry, I love how she said, you acting like a clown out here. They'll read you down, beat your ass, then read you down, humiliate you, and she already had a little thing right here. But it was a fair fight. Don't step to Miss Pearl after she done told you to back the hell off, and you ain't got to worry about your eye. Get that eye together.
I mean, a woman told you, look, don't come over here. Don't come over here with that. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know what black church Paula White gonna be able to walk into when they fly his ass and drop him off at Mar-a-Lago. And I'm sorry, after this crap, and you let her in your pulpit, Erica, go ahead.
Listen, I'm glad that you teed that up that way, Roland, because, folks and I'm glad we're having a moment of laughing, but the folks that have really consolidated in with this son of a Klansman, they've told people who they are. And what's really sad about it is that Paula White does have a share of black women and men that attend her services. But here's the thing. Paula White and the son of a Klansman and all the rest of them are lying with no teeth. And where she is even more responsible is because as a person who says she was called of God, listen, that blood that's on that chick's hand is not coming off. So I've said this when I'm referencing 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, 15 through 17th verse, that it's more of us than it is of them. There's an invisible army that we can't see unless we ask for our eyes to be open and move in that straight. But that to the Marco Rubios, the Paula Whites, and all of these different people that have used faith as a way to gain what is temporal power, and really and really hurt people, Black and brown and otherwise, is that there is a part that says, "Depart from me, I never knew you." And listen, for this little time that we have on earth, that is not something I would want to hear repeated back to me by what my faith says. And so I think people just remember that these are mere mortals. This is a time in humanity. She is a lion with no teeth. And just like the folks that she signed up with, she has no power.
Okay. Greg, I got one more.
That's right.
I got one more, Greg. I got one more.
Angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched right now. Hamanda aka ata raka teda baka sanda ata ambo osa kata rite eke banda ata rike didi ashata. For angels have even been dispatched from Africa right now. Africa right now. Africa right now. From Africa right now. They're coming here. They're coming here.
Angels from where are being dispatched? I know she did not say Africa. You better call on some American angels. We are angels from Africa. We got African responsibility. You better call on Charlie's Angels, Angels in the Outfield, Devil's Food Cake Angels, Anaheim Angels. We is not helping y'all. No, you got us messed up. Michael, do you hear this? Paula White, runga tanga duck. You is wronga tonga nothing. We is not coming to help y'all. That is American problems, girl. You tripping. No.
For angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched.
Go ahead, Greg.
No, I think Erica framed it. Erica put it in the cosmic sense. We only here for a minute in these bodies, brother. These people have a reckoning that's coming. You always talking about the reckoning, Roland. There are a number of reckonings. And we saw that in Mississippi. That sister put her hand up. You see how Reese be putting her hand up? She put her hand up, and then when she touched it, she said, okay, now I got to handle you. And yeah, I don't know. Her technique was a little bit different. She choked her out. I think maybe Erica probably would have gave her that 2-piece. But in terms of that last one right there, it's funny because I think about the fact that the hurricanes start, the Gulf, the stream, the water, and then the currents and the atmosphere start off the coast of West Africa. And a lot of people will say, I won't say I'll sound like Trump, a lot of people. You often hear African spiritualists say that is for the sin of the enslavement. Those boats came along those same currents. Then that's where the hurricanes come from. So, Paula, don't call on no African angels, because I promise you really don't want what they're going to bring. Because if they come for you, there won't be any pleading. In fact, what am I saying? We're already here. We'll see you. We'll see you.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, at Seek.com, I want to thank them for being a partner with Roland Martin Unfiltered. Mary Spiel, the founder of this Black-owned virtual reality company. You can watch their content at Seek.com, CEEK.com. This is one of the headsets that you can use. This virtual reality headset. Drop your phone right into here. Look at that content, that VR content on their site. Other 360-degree video puts you right there up close. And so you just pop it on like this, and then you're able literally to just sit here and put yourself in the room and see everything that's around you 360 degrees. Now, if you listen to music, folks, you can check out the music on their Seek.com headphones. These right here, folks, are 360-degree 4D headphones. The bass on these things are absolutely amazing. Surround sound. So literally when you're listening to it, the sound actually is around your whole head. Again, created by a sister. If you want to get the headset for the music or the VR headset, simply use this promo code RMVIP2020. RMVIP2020. Christmas is coming up. some great guests. In fact, my birthday in 9 days, so I'm just giving y'all a hint. So use a promo code RMVIP2020 and go to Seek.com. And again, we appreciate them being partners with us here at Roland Martin Unfiltered. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. It's very interesting watching all of this play out, Neon B, because, again, they're desperate. They're flailing. They are trying to cast doubt. And also, frankly, they're angry that black people, it's black people who delivered the fatal blow to Donald Trump. He is railed for 4 years, calling the voters in Philadelphia corrupt. And it's killing him that Philadelphia came in hard against him. It destroys his ego that Detroit, black Detroit, came in hard against him. It's killing him that black Atlanta is going against him. It's just killing him that black Milwaukee put that final nail in his coffin as well. That's what's killing Donald Trump and all of his MAGA supporters.
Absolutely. But he's been telling us for months that this is exactly what he was going to do, that he was going to dispute every vote. He called mail-in ballots illegal votes. He's been telegraphing for months that he knew he was going to lose. I mean, he started this race defeated, quite frankly. And it's sour grapes now. And you're exactly right. There's nothing worse to a person who has sort of created their altar to white supremacy to finally see that it was the very same people that he despised potentially take power away from him. That's killing Donald Trump. That's killing his supporters. And, you know, their tantrum, unfortunately, brings with it real threats along with it. I mean, these people are out here armed to the teeth. They're showing up to places with guns. And so it's not just, you know, that these people are having a fit in the street. They're having a fit in the street with lots of weapons and real threats. And really, it seems like in many cases, law enforcement who are just standing idly by and letting these people have, you know, full-on meltdowns and spin themselves into butter. But I think, you know, it was especially sweet to see it happen this way and to see that these black cities and these black folks turn out and put him out, quite frankly.
It's just laughable to watch these folks, Rob, because they can't handle losing well. The thing is, I mean, Hillary Clinton showed far more dignity when she lost in 2016. John McCain when he lost. But see, here's the deal. I keep telling people, I don't need Donald Trump to concede.
Right.
The votes are the votes, Rob.
Yeah.
So I don't need Donald Trump to invite Joe Biden to the White House, do the customary sit down. I get why people want that, but we know the man-child is not going to do that because that's called decency.
That's called basic decency. And you're right, he's not going to do it, but it would be very helpful for the nation for him to do it because he is a lot of things. He's a man-child. He's a whiner in chief. He's also the greatest, I believe, con man and marketer to ever be in that position. Because the sad fact is he got a ton of votes, and there's a lot of people that still believe whatever they want to believe that comes out of his mouth. He has a cult personality following him, and why this is dangerous is because people believe it. I mean, there are people that are, and it goes beyond education. There are people that have some education and still want to make themselves believe that somehow they're being cheated, that, you know, somehow black people have the power to hold secret votes and keep away votes, and suddenly we can just turn the whole election. I mean, suddenly we can do that, but we can't get reparations. Like, I can't figure it out. So, like, if we can do that, but we can't get reparations, I don't know. Like, we have this secret plot that we're controlling things. It's not happening that way. But whatever narrative he tells them, they believe. And as Dr. Carter said, it is extremely dangerous because they are prone. They already want to be angry. They already want to find a reason to blame someone. And he's using the common denominator of fear to drive them to be irrational, to make it feel like somebody's out to get them, that everybody's against them, big tech's against them, media is against them. black people are against them, Latino people everybody's against them. No, actually, it's Donald Trump that's against you. He's just a great con man and a marketer.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, at Seek.com, I want to thank them for being a partner with Roland Martin Unfiltered. Mary Spiel, the founder of this black-owned virtual reality company. You can watch their content at Seek.com, CEEK.com. This is one of the headsets that you can use. This virtual reality headset. Drop your phone right into here. Look at that content, that VR content on their site. Other 360-degree video puts you right there up close. And so you just pop it on like this, and then you're able literally to just sit here and put yourself in the room and see everything that's around you 360 degrees. Now, if you're listening to music, folks, you can check out the music on their Seek.com headphones. These right here, folks, are 360-degree 4D headphones. The bass on these things are absolutely amazing. Surround sound, so literally when you're listening to it, the sound actually is around your whole head. Again, created by a system. If you want to get the headset for the music or the VR headset, simply use this promo code RMVIP2020. RMVIP2020. Christmas is coming up. Some great gifts. In fact, my birthday in 9 days. So I'm just giving y'all a hint. So use a promo code RMVIP2020 and go to Seek.com. And again, we appreciate them being partners with us here at Roland Martin Unfiltered. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Folks, this right here is the front page of today's Miami Herald. It says, it was a bloodbath, how Miami's rightward shift changed the face of Florida politics. Democrats lost 2 House congressional seats there, led by Cuban Americans and Venezuelans. A lot of people are asking the question today, what in the world happened with Latino voters? One exit poll said that Latino men went 60% for Donald Trump. Well, it's real easy to have all this sort of stuff back and forth. People talking about Latino voters. Matt Barreto is one of the best pollsters out there with regards to Latino voters. He joins us right now. So Matt, there's a lot of people who talk all kind of different stuff about Latino voters. All kinds of. I said, no. Get Matt. I want to understand before we make any assumptions what actually what has happened in this election with Latino voters.
Well, good to see you, Roland. And I got to get one of those pocket squares, so I'm going to have to follow you up on that. First of all, let's talk about Miami. Miami is only 3% of the entire national Latino electorate, 3%. And last night, you would have thought that was all, that we were all Cuban and Venezuelan because people were obsessed with what was happening. I understand that Florida is important, but even in Florida, only about 1/3 of Latinos are Cuban and about 1/3 are Puerto Rican. And so we need to take the Latino electorate state by state, but also within a state as complex as Florida, and break it out by different geographies, by different ethnicities. And one of the things that we found last night looking at the data is that in the Puerto Rican community in Orlando, in Tampa, in Osceola County, we did really well. We were up with 72% according to the exit poll with Puerto Ricans. And that was a community we really targeted, worked really hard at. It is the case that in Miami, that it was a tougher battle there. And Republicans had made some inroads with Cubans. I'm going to give you one theory as to why they did better this year. Back in 2016, Trump spent a big part of his primary bashing Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz. Now, Ted Cruz is not necessarily loved by anyone, but Rubio is. Rubio is a household name in the Cuban American community, and Trump spent the better part of that campaign bashing him. It was hard at the end of that primary to rebuild that image. Over the last 4 years, what has Rubio done? He has run to Trump's aid, and he has helped him restore some of those votes in the Cuban American community. But again, just put that in perspective. That's only 3% of the national Latino vote. And when we talk about how in Arizona, it was a great night for Latino voters in Arizona.
Glad you mentioned that particular point about when you mentioned Puerto Rico voters. Last night, I had Rosa Clemente on our coverage of the election. This is what she had to say. Venezuelans, you argue Democrats did not do enough to go after the 500,000 Puerto Ricans there in Florida.
Yes, Roland, first of all, can you hear me?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, perfect. No, 1.5 million Puerto Ricans in Florida.
Wow, 1.5. Okay.
Yes, there are 5.6 million Puerto Ricans in the United States, the three biggest states being Florida, New York, and Pennsylvania. And my argument was, and everybody who knows me, Roland, you know me, I'm a Green Party, third party candidate, you know? But I did keep stressing to the Democratic Party leadership, like, you have to go to Florida and talk to Puerto Ricans. You have to go to Pennsylvania. Throughout a lot of my travels as a speaker, I've been to probably every county and city in Pennsylvania. And the Puerto Rican population is large there, you know, so you're also talking about post Hurricane Maria. And what Trump did was he went down there and he promised Puerto Ricans $13 billion, which we know it's a lie. But every Puerto Rican that I spoke to throughout the state of Florida told me no Democratic leadership has asked to visit us. You know, so my argument is you're talking about 1.5 million Puerto Ricans, also who, as American citizens, when we hit the United States, we can vote. And, you know, I just don't think the outreach was there. And I think the outreach should also happen in Pennsylvania. I live in upstate New York, you know, so I'm close to this part of Pennsylvania.
All right, Matt, so I would think that if you're Democrats and you realize how strong Cuban Americans vote Republican, when you look at how Venezuelans are following in the footsteps of Cuban voters, to your point, and I was on the phone today with a couple of Democratic strategists, and they asked me, okay, Roland, how then do we need to compete? I said, you've got to stop saying Latino. You got to get rid of Latinx. And what you have to say is, we're going to have a targeted effort to Puerto Ricans in Florida, to Cubans in Florida, to Venezuelans in Florida. We're going to have a separate strategy for Mexican Americans in Texas and for Mexican Americans who are in Arizona, New Mexico, and Nevada. We're going to have a completely different strategy for Chicanos in Chicago, for Dominicans in New York. I think part of the problem here, Matt, is that they've been treating groups as, oh, I'm going to create a single message or two for this entire group, just like, and I'm going to discuss it with my panel in a little bit, same thing. I'm going to reach African Americans, but within that, I must have a targeted focus for Black women, educated in terms of college degree, non-college degree. A targeted effort for Black men, college degree, non-college degree. You can't just sort of do this one shot across and I'm going to catch everybody with the same messaging.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right about that. But, you know, a little bit of what Rosa was saying was coming out of that just early knee-jerk reaction when it looked like the, quote, Latino vote, which was being lumped together early on, wasn't performing well. We knew by the end of the night that it turned out a lot better. Really, the only real trouble spot was in Miami-Dade County. As I said, if you look at the rest of Florida, Puerto Rican vote was really good in the rest of Florida. We had really good numbers in Orange County and Osceola County. And Pennsylvania, which is going to come through today, it does have a huge Puerto Rican vote. About 65% of Latinos in Pennsylvania are Puerto Rican voters. Nydia Velázquez was there 3 or 4 times for the Biden campaign, coming over from New York to talk to those Latinos. And you're absolutely right. It does need to come from the community. It needs to be culturally relevant. And you saw the same thing. Darren Soto, Puerto Rican congressman, was really active in Central Florida. But if you go to Phoenix, who did the campaign have? Ruben Gallego, Congressman Raul Grijalva, these Congress people from the community who are Mexican American doing that outreach. We had George Lopez going into Arizona and doing events for Latino men. That needs to become the norm. There needs to be more of that. There needs to be more micro-targeting Black and brown communities in the same way that the white vote is pulled apart and seen these different sort of subgroups. I think you're starting to see that. If you peel back now and look at where were their success stories in 2020, you're going to see that it was more of that. Arizona needs to be at the top of the list. People need to unpack that more. The state director for Biden was a Latina for the whole state of Arizona. Then under her was a Latino state director just focusing on the Mexican-American community. That's a good blueprint to use to expand, to really take the vote seriously.
There's an issue that we have to talk about. And I saw this happen in, was it 2012? It was 2012. It was very interesting. I remember being, was at CNN, and there was all this talk about white Hispanics. And I remember being in a conference room, and you had Mark Whitaker, who was a number 2 at CNN, the managing editor, was sitting in the room, and we're on the conference call, and they're on the call, and these folks are on the call, and they're talking about, and so one of the white executives at CNN says, I mean, look, folks, we got to be careful with this language. They're not white Hispanics. I started laughing. And there was somebody in the call who goes, I'm sorry, excuse me, I'm a white Hispanic. And I said, guys, I'm from Texas. I've been knowing white Hispanics my whole life. Let's talk about that, Matt, because when we talk about white Hispanics, the reality is we have to confront the fact that there are white Hispanics who are more white, identify with more with white voters than they do with black and brown voters. Talk about what your polling says when it comes to that, and how that goes when it comes to Democrats, Joe Biden, and Republicans, Donald Trump. What do you think?
Well, there's a huge diversity, and we need to continue talking about that diversity in the Latino community. Where you generally see it is large numbers in places like Florida, people who were of fleeing South America, Cuba, and other places who identify as white racially. And yes, they are a Hispanic Latino. They might be immigrants. They might have an accent, et cetera. But they may identify racially as closer to white. And then you have others also from the Caribbean, Puerto Rican, Dominican, and other communities, Brazilian maybe, who identify as black. You go up to the Dominican population in New York City. And so that is a big issue. The diversity within our community is there. And then you have predominantly Mexican-American immigrant populations in the Southwest, which differ, right, from those populations that say, hey, my family's been here 200 years. Think about some of those communities in New Mexico, where Spanish is ubiquitous. It's everywhere. But people maybe trace their ancestry to Spain, to the conquistadors who came 500 years ago. So that diversity is important. The one thing we find is people still identify as Hispanic. They identify as Latino. They recognize that, but they do want to recognize their own, cultural differences, and that's important.
Which is why I keep trying to explain to people that when you talk about African Americans in this country, you're talking about people who are from Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Arkansas, Texas, things along those lines. When you talk about Latinos in America, you have to think nationalities. Venezuelan, Cuban, Peru, folks who are Brazil. I mean, you have to think that way. And so they have a national identity that also goes along with it, because they say, I'm Venezuelan.
Right.
Whereas African Americans, they say, I'm black. I might be black from Texas, but I'm black from Louisiana, I'm black. So you can't ignore the nationalistic aspect of these voters.
Well, it's also interesting, and I'd be curious to get your perspective on this as we start to think about the way that the black population in America is changing too, with Haitian, Jamaican, and other black, Caribbean, or even African. I mean, that immigrant population is now starting to be noticeable. Ethiopian, Eritrean in the black community too, and that's quite interesting to see those distinctions. And kids often identify as black, but sometimes there's those immigrant populations as well.
And I'll tell you, many of the people who would support Donald Trump who were black were those very immigrants, because their view of America is different. One of the things I want to talk to you last before I let you go, is we still talk about. First of all, before I do it, do you use the term Latinx? I don't get it. So I mean, seriously, for me, I say Hispanic/Latino because growing up in Texas, they're the different groups. I know folks in Latino who can't stand Latinx. I'm just curious your thoughts.
Well, I always say as a pollster, when I'm talking to people, I'll let them identify however they want. whatever their preferred term is. And there are folks, including younger folks, who do like the term Latinx. They think it is more inclusive. When we ask people in polls and we say, what term do you prefer? What do you identify with? Hispanic is still the overwhelming term by about 60%. And then Latino or Latina, some people like that because they can, pull their gender in through that. We only find usually about 2% nationally who are using regularly the term Latinx. So it's more of a, I think, insider academic DC sort of term. But I say
or young people thing.
Young people, but even among young people, it usually doesn't get higher than 10% of young people.
So all right. So one of the areas that when we talk about Latino voters, you cannot divorce the issue of the Catholic Church and pro-life. And that, again, when I hear people say, like, for instance, people have said that one of the polls, one of the exit polling showed that 66% of Latino men voted for Donald Trump. Not sure if that's correct. Just want to love to get your perspective if that's real or not. But we cannot underestimate the role of the Catholic Church and folks who are Latino, who say, I'm Catholic, I am pro-life, who identify with Republicans on that issue as well.
I think we have an opportunity with Biden coming in as president, as a practicing real-life Catholic, someone who, for them, faith and religion is important to them, to make that connection to that community and to say we might have some differences, but we have so much in common and so many similarities. So there's a big opportunity right there to think about what that vote's going to look like if Biden is able to lean in and express his Catholic values. And maybe mostly immigrants are a little bit more conservative on some issues. They often see that as a private issue, not necessarily for role of government. There's not a good tradition of the Catholic Church being involved in government in Latin America. And so it's their private values, it's their own family values, but they're increasingly okay with government maybe taking a role on issues like same-sex marriage, like abortion, even as they might personally not be in favor of it. And I do think there's an opportunity with Biden coming in as president to lean into his Catholic values and to say, hey, we have something in common here. We have a shared faith, that religion is important to me. It's important to my character, to my family. And that right there is going to resonate with many, many Latinos, especially immigrants who might feel the same way, lifelong Catholics.
When it comes to a Black Latino alliance, this is what I've heard from people. Look, you got some Black folks who say they absolutely support Donald Trump building the wall, don't like illegal immigration. Then you have others who say, wait a minute, if Latinos didn't give a damn about Donald Trump attacking them, why in the hell should I? Do you actually see, as we are 23 years away from the nation becoming majority people of color, and that is Latinos, Blacks, Asian Americans making up the majority in this country, whites being 47%, do you actually see a growing, because it exists in a lot of places right now, but do you see a real opportunity for a much stronger Black Latino alliance? And how does that work politically to counter, frankly, what I call white minority resistance, even though they're in the majority, where whites are essentially joining together saying, hey, we got to hold these folks back as long as we can because they're coming and the demographics are changing. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, the number one motivator and mobilizer, the most popular figure in the Latino electorate right now was President Obama. Now, there's no surprise why you saw him on the trail closing. He is still held in very high regard and high esteem. So when our leaders lean in, they help the community come along on those issues of solidarity and coalition. And so the more that our leaders lean in on those issues, I think you're going to see big opportunities for that. Kamala Harris was extremely popular, not only because of her connections in California, being well familiar with the Latino community, but her own immigrant stories. We were just talking about many African Americans have that immigrant story today. So I think you're going to see that. I think you have big opportunities for that. And there's no doubt when we poll on BLM, and we ask, Latinos are very supportive of that as a concept and as a justice movement, especially that community under the age of 35. It is at the same rates with Latinos under 35 as it is with African Americans. You're talking about 85, 88% support for BLM. So I hope that that's an opportunity, but our leaders need to lean in and they will help bring both communities along.
Well, we have an opportunity now. Again, we're going to break these numbers down. Matt Barreto with Latino Decisions. Man, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
You got it, Rolling. You send me that pocket square, all right?
I got you. I'll hook you up. Man, thanks a lot. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, the folks at Seek.com, black-owned company founded by Mary Spio. They, of course, a virtual reality company. You can check out their content at Seek.com, Seek.com. You can do so, of course, with these VR headsets. You can look at it, of course, on your regular device or your pad or your computer. But if you want to experience being in the room, you can use this headset right here. All you simply do is just pop in your cell phone in here, pop it on, and then put this headset on, and you can literally experience their content in virtual reality. And so allows for you to do a 360-degree view of the room. But also, folks, they have the 360-degree 4D headphones right here. These are Bluetooth headphones. They have complete surround sound in terms of as you hear the particular music. Gamers love them as well when they're playing their games. And so it's just phenomenal bass in these headphones as well. You can get one or both devices at Seek.com using this promo code RMVIP 2020, RMVIP 2020. So we certainly thank the folks at Seek.com for being a partner with us here at Roland Martin Unfiltered. All right. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. We didn't make it all the way over. And the reason we didn't make it all the way over is because the reality is this here. When you look at what happened, not just in the presidential race, but also when it comes to the United States Senate, when it comes to various policies. Now you're dealing with a situation where Mitch McConnell can be the cog to block everything. That's one. Two, when you look at what happened on the state level in Texas, Democrats did not win nine House seats, and they now don't control that chamber. Republicans can control redistricting for the next 10 years. Same thing happened in other states. No full legislature flipped. Now, here's what we're dealing with when we talk about this notion of whiteness. And we have to understand, I need all people. In fact, let me just go ahead and do this here. You can go ahead and Henry, you can zoom out because I'm tired of sitting down. I sat down 8 hours last night. So here's the deal I need y'all to understand. Go ahead and zoom out. I need y'all to understand I got to stand up, all right? What we got to understand here with whiteness, that we're watching with whiteness, we have to understand is all this talk, oh my God, Trump and his racism, Trump and his sexism, Trump and his comments, Trump and his lying. They don't give a damn about none of that. Go to my iPad, Henry. The Jack Nicklaus statement of support for Donald Trump right here defines whiteness in every single way you need. If you want to understand the thinking of whiteness in America, this is what Jack Nicklaus says in here. He says, I've been very disappointed at what he's had to put up with from many directions, but with that, I've seen the resolve and determination to do the right thing for our country. He has delivered on his promises. He's worked for the average person. In my opinion, he has been more diverse than any other president I have seen and has tried to help people from all walks of life equally. He says this, I'm just a guy from Ohio and a Midwestern middle-class family whose grandfathers both worked on the railroad. They gave their son, my father, the opportunity to pursue his education and his American dream. I was taught strong family values and worked hard to pursue my own dreams, my own American dream. I also believe that Donald Trump's policies will bring the American dream to many families across the nation who are still trying to achieve it. Then he says, see y'all, this I need y'all to understand, this is the kicker. You might not like the way our president says or tweets some things. If I was in church, let me unpack some things. When Jack Nicklaus says some things, he's saying calling black women dogs. When he says some things, when he's calling folk names, some things, when he's lying. Jack Nicklaus reduces Donald Trump's hatred and bigotry to 2 words, some things. Let me continue. And he says, and trust me, I have told him that, but I have learned to look past that and focus on what he's tried to accomplish. Oh my God, let me go ahead and simply pick up on that and unpack that again if I had to preach this thing. He says, I have learned to look past that and focus on what he's tried to accomplish. When I was in Mississippi on Sunday for Mike Espy, guess what I saw? The Ross Barnett Reservoir. Ross Barnett was the governor of Mississippi during the tumultuous times of the civil rights movement. White folks in Mississippi looked past the bigotry of Ross Barnett, and you still have monuments to Ross Barnett. If you come into Washington, D.C., and you go to the Senate building, it's called the Russell Building. It's named after Richard Russell. Robert Patillo knows him well. He was a segregationist senator from Georgia. See, they looked past his racism and named a building in his honor. See, that's what white America has done. They have looked past the racism and the bigotry and then said, I'm focused on the things he's trying to accomplish. Back to Jack Nicholson's statement. This is not a personality contest. He writes, it's about patriotism, policies, and the people they impact. His love for America and its citizens and putting his country first has come through loud and clear. How he has said it has not been important to me. What has been important are his actions. Now you have the opportunity to take action. Let me unpack that. What Jack Nicklaus is saying, it ain't important if your ass bothered by his racism. It's not important if you bothered by his bigotry. It's not important if you bothered by his sexism. It ain't important to me as a white man if you bothered by his lying. It ain't important to me as a white man if you bothered by all the folks in administration who have been brought up on charges, who have pled guilty, who have gone to prison. It's not important to me how many of them have been corrupt. It's not important to me if he is sitting here saying we should take out these progressive DAs who are causing problems in this country. It's not important to me if he ain't sitting here spoken out about crimes committed against black folks by cops. It's not important to me how he embraces police officers and says nothing about police brutality. It's not important to me if he told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. It's not important to me what he said in Charlottesville. There are good people on both sides. It's not important to me about any of that because what Jack Nicklaus is saying, your issues, black people, ain't my problem. What he's saying is, young folks, your issues ain't my problem. What he's saying is, as a white man, I'm focused on my stuff and your stuff don't mean a damn thing to me. The statement, Robert Patillo, by Jack Nicklaus speaks exactly to why white America voted the way they did on yesterday. And we had better come to understand that this statement right here is simply a white manifesto for the 21st century. And folk better understand what we are up against, because if you keep somehow thinking they care about racism, they don't. Jack Nicklaus says it. He says, point blank, how he has said it has not been important to me. What has been important are his actions. All right, folks, back to our roadblock unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, the folks at Seek.com, black-owned company founded by Mary Spio. They, of course, a virtual reality company. You can check out their content at Seek.com, CEEK.com. You can do so, of course, with these VR headsets. You can look at it, of course, on your regular device or your pad or your computer. But if you want to experience being in the room, you can use this headset right here. All you simply do is just pop in your cell phone in here, pop it on, and then put this headset on, and you can literally experience their content in virtual reality. And so allows for you to do a 360-degree view of the room. But also, folks, they have the 360-degree 4D headphones right here. These are Bluetooth headphones. They have complete surround sound in terms of as you hear the particular music. Gamers love them as well when they're playing their games. And so it's just phenomenal bass in these headphones as well. You can get one or both devices at Seek.com using this promo code RMVIP 2020, RMVIP 2020. So we certainly thank the folks at Seek.com for being a partner with us here at Roland Martin Unfiltered. All right. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. I love all these people on these mainstream networks saying, oh my goodness, no one could have predicted this. No. What? That white people were going to do what they're doing? So I had my staff pull together, cull together, variety of appearances that I made on MSNBC. Press play.
Donald Trump is not trying to appeal to African Americans or Latinos or Asians or Native Americans. He is specifically trying to appeal to white fear. The Republican Party provides aid and comfort to white supremacists in America, period. White America must say enough is enough. We are going to reject the racist appeals, and we're not going to vote along the lines of race. Is Donald Trump and the Republican Party purposely and openly courting white supremacists? The answer is yes. He is appealing to white nationalism and white fear to get him reelected. He needs white anger, white resistance, the fear of white minorities. That's what he needs to win, and we have to oppose that with every fiber of our being. White America has to own this. The reality is white voters have to confront the issue of race. They have to reject the racist appeals of Donald Trump. I have to see white America prove to me that they're going to reject the white supremacy of Donald Trump. White America has to answer the question, what are you going to do?
Sir.
I love it.
Yes, sir.
You know, I actually just
Clearly they didn't.
wait.
Any one of y'all can jump in if y'all want to. Go ahead, Teresa.
Did you learn to?
It's been said now.
I can't.
It's been said.
Every time Roland gets
It's
on
been said.
national media, it's been said multiple times. But he gets on there with I love the African attire because it's like we already know what you're about to say. You're about to drop the history, dropping the nuggets, and it's like I keep banging it on the head. Like honestly, Roland, I need to see you on Fox and really give Hannity. And
oh hell no, they ain't gonna call me. They gonna call Scott. They gonna call Monique. They gonna call y'all. They ain't gonna call me.
Are we lightweight?
No, y'all ain't lightweight, but y'all ain't gonna come on out with that kente. But go on right ahead, Teresa. Go ahead.
That's absolutely right. But honestly, you've been saying it since the beginning. You know, white people have been, in the decision-making seat for so long, and it's just like it's a lost message when it comes to really allocating resources and being a different type of strategist. I can't tell you the countless times that I've seen a back-to-back Trump-Biden commercial, right? But I'm in this space, so I'm like very aware. What I will tell you is that on some of because I pulled the numbers as well,
on some of the stations that had to do with, BET, VH1, Trump was dominating those segments, but also putting smaller little ads on digital spaces. But more of his money, like here in Philadelphia, he was paying people literally, $100 an hour and $50 an hour and for some things just to knock on the doors, right? So there has been, an interesting spin as it relates to how they understood, look, you guys, Latinos, you need money. Look, this is what we're going to do. Versus the Democrats, you got to, it's like a dog and pony show almost just to get a contract. But I think they're, hopefully, again, part of that revamping is also reevaluation of what they plan on to move forward so we don't go backwards.
And Roland, this is nothing new, by the way.
Oh, it's not. I mean,
1988. You remember in 1988.
I'm sorry, hold up. You said 1788?
No, I said 1988.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you mean 1688?
No. Well, let me just say, my first experience with Poles lying, or rather, Poles don't lie, white people lie.
No. But see, no. See, hold on. Stop right there. See, we ain't got to have a poll conversation because this is not about polls. What we have to contend with, Scott, is that what this is about is Donald Trump has allowed a majority of white people to now verbalize what they've always had inside, but they've had to restrain it. They've had to hide it. They've had to turn it down. They've had to modulate. Trump comes along, don't give a damn, says what he want to say, and they like, ooh, this is their, ooh.
I'm free.
We've been waiting. Oh my God, we've been waiting. Trump has unleashed it. So when Joe Biden, and I get Uncle Joe, why he was saying it, after Trump, Republicans are going to go back. No. The only card they have now is whiteness. They have to appeal to whiteness, Scott. They have to appeal to fear. They have to be, and because they understand messaging, he got plus 4 points. 96% of black women voted for 96% of black women voted for Hillary Clinton. 91% of black women voted for Donald Trump. He was plus 4 with black women, plus 4 with black men, and you saw the increase in Latino. And so it's all about messaging. What I'm saying is whiteness is about an overt appeals to race because now they're saying, look at Trump. You can go ahead and be racist and it ain't going to hurt you.
The problem with your analysis is that doesn't work without Trump in power.
Yes, it does.
And when Trump is not in power,
yes, it does.
It'll be interesting to see whether the power of that whiteness continues because it won't have a mainstream platform.
Yes, it will.
What's your comment or response to that?
Yes, it will. Robert, the reality is this here.
So?
No, what it's done, Robert, it is unleashed the inner hate. And so here's what you're about to listen. Listen. Here's what you're about to see. You're about to see the candidates, Robert, go, well, hell, he acted a plum ass. Lied, made stuff up, hell, couldn't handle coronavirus, and these fools still elected him? If I just do a little less, I can stay in office. Robert, people need to stop saying this is Trump. No, this is the Republican Party of the 21st century.
Well, it's not even of the 21st century. This is the post-Nixon Republican Party now with social media and steroids. President Trump is doing very much what Goldwater talked about in '68 when he talked about the white lash in response to African-American progress during the first term of LBJ. In response to President Obama, we are seeing that white lash. We are seeing the PC culture they like to talk about, this idea of giving other people rights, diversity, so on and so forth. And when you push people into that box, you're seeing them explode out. What Scott was talking about with 88 and 84, with what Reverend Jackson did, and what Democrats have to do is bring your own voters to the polls. Go find new voters. Those Rust Belt voters are never coming back. Exactly. Those Rust Belt voters aren't coming back to the Democratic Party. Quit trying to think that the people who are on, let's say, Roseanne, those people are not coming back to the Democratic Party. That was the basically party back when union bosses and factories and auto dealers and auto companies ran the Democratic Party. Your party and your base is in the South now. That's the growth sector. Charlotte, Nashville, Birmingham, Atlanta, New Orleans. Those are the places that are growing in population with transplants from the North. Those are the places that have progressive values, young people, jobs. That is where the party is going. And as long as you try to hang on to those upper Midwestern Rust Belt voters, you're going to continue to see tight races like this when this race had no business being tight in the first place. And so you continue to not accept that the white lash is here, then you're going to continue to be a victim of the white lash. And they're doing that lookout block for you. Where they say, we got white women on our side, and you look over, they are gone. And they're saying, look out, they're coming for you. So let's understand what's going on.
And here's the point on those. And here's the point on those.
Hello?
Hold on. Scott, then Monique. Scott, go ahead.
Okay? Because white people don't believe that Democratic policies and their platform, that the Democrats, when they say what they stand for, they don't believe that the Democrats are talking to them or they're white. They believe all of our positions on environment and healthcare and criminal justice reform and the economy and the alternative energy processes and programs are meant for black and brown people.
No.
They don't listen to the Democratic message, even if it's in their best interest.
No, you're wrong.
In part.
You're wrong.
They don't believe that the Democrats are talking to them.
You're wrong.
They think they're talking to black and brown people.
No, you're wrong.
That's a fact.
No, you're wrong.
I can give you reports and data on that.
No, you're wrong. Monique, go ahead. Monique, go ahead.
The most disrespected person, Scott, the most disrespected person in America is a black woman. The most unprotected person in America is a black woman. And the most neglected person in America is a black woman. There's a black woman on this ticket, at the top of the ticket. She's the person who, if this next president, who is upward in age, as we all admit, is unable to proceed, will become the president of the United States. She's the heir apparent for the presidency when he finishes his term. So anybody who's saying that this shouldn't have been close in an America that is as racist as it's ever been, that is a patriarchy, that is just steeping with white supremacy and misogyny and sexism, you're not awake. For all of the wokeness, you're not awake, because it's a fight, and we should have expected it to be a dogfight in order to be able to get Senator Kamala Harris to be in the position that Vice President Joe Biden had the smarts and the boldness to put her in. But don't mistake it. The same black women who are making it possible for the Democrats to be able to do this and made it possible for a black woman to be in that space, we're the same black women who, since slavery, understand what it is for nobody to be on our side. And by nobody, I mean white men, white women, black men who have been beaten, lynched, and come home and kick the wife and then kick the dog. So the fact that we're screeching through, to me, is expected and appropriate, and we're good. We're winning right now, because I don't expect for people to be with me. Senator Kamala Harris said to Steve Harvey 2 days ago when she was being interviewed that when you're someone in our position, you get used to no. You eat no for breakfast, and it's a hearty meal. So I'm not surprised, but I am thankful that the victory is still assured, so we can do this post-mortem if we want to. But I'm here to tell you, white people were just doing white people, and we made it over anyway.
Yeah, but no. See, first of all, we made it We made it halfway.
Yes,
No.
we
Because
we're over.
no.
We made
Actually,
it.
no. We didn't make it all the way over. And the reason we didn't make it all the way over is because the reality is this here. When you look at what happened, not just in the presidential race, but also when it comes to the United States Senate, when it comes to various policies. Now you're dealing with a situation where Mitch McConnell can be the cog to block everything. That's one. Two, when you look at what happened on the state level in Texas, Democrats did not win nine House seats, and they now don't control that chamber. Republicans can control redistricting for the next 10 years. Same thing happened in other states. No full legislature flipped. Now, here's what we're dealing with when we talk about this notion of whiteness. And we have to understand, I need all people. In fact, let me just go ahead and do this here. You can go ahead and Henry, you can zoom out because I'm tired of sitting down. I sat down 8 hours last night. So here's the deal I need y'all to understand. Go ahead and zoom out. I need y'all to understand I got to stand up, all right? What we got to understand here with whiteness, that we're watching with whiteness, we have to understand is all this talk, oh my God, Trump and his racism, Trump and his sexism, Trump and his comments, Trump and his lying. They don't give a damn about none of that. Go to my iPad, Henry. The Jack Nicklaus statement of support for Donald Trump right here defines whiteness in every single way you need. If you want to understand the thinking of whiteness in America, this is what Jack Nicklaus says in here. He says, I've been very disappointed at what he's had to put up with from many directions, but with that, I've seen the resolve and determination to do the right thing for our country. He has delivered on his promises. He's worked for the average person. In my opinion, he has been more diverse than any other president I have seen and has tried to help people from all walks of life equally. He says this, I'm just a guy from Ohio and a Midwestern middle-class family whose grandfathers both worked on the railroad. They gave their son, my father, the opportunity to pursue his education and his American dream. I was taught strong family values and worked hard to pursue my own dreams, my own American dream. I also believe that Donald Trump's policies will bring the American dream to many families across the nation who are still trying to achieve it. Then he says, see y'all, I need y'all to understand, this is the kicker. You might not like the way our president says or tweets some things. If I was in church, let me unpack some things. When Jack Nicklaus says some things, he's saying calling black women dogs. When he says some things, when he's calling folk names. Some things, when he's lying. Jack Nicklaus reduces Donald Trump's hatred and bigotry to two words, some things. Let me continue. And he says, and trust me, I have told him that, but I have learned to look past that and focus on what he's tried to accomplish. Oh my God, let me go ahead and simply pick up on that and unpack that again if I had to preach this thing. He says, I have learned to look past that and focus on what he's tried to accomplish. When I was in Mississippi on Sunday, for Mike Espy, guess what I saw? The Ross Barnett Reservoir. Ross Barnett was the governor of Mississippi during the tumultuous times of the civil rights movement. White folks in Mississippi looked past the bigotry of Ross Barnett, and you still have monuments to Ross Barnett. If you come into Washington, D.C., and you go to the Senate building, it's called the Russell Building. It's named after Richard Russell. Robert Patillo knows him well. He was a segregationist senator from Georgia. See, they looked past his racism and named a building in his honor. See, that's what white America has done. They have looked past the racism and the bigotry and then said, I'm focused on the things he's trying to accomplish. Back to Jack Nicholson's statement. This is not a personality contest. He writes, it's about patriotism, policies, and the people they impact. his love for America and its citizens and putting his country first has come through loud and clear. How he has said it has not been important to me. What has been important are his actions. Now you have the opportunity to take action. Let me unpack that. What Jack Nicklaus is saying, it ain't important if your ass bothered by his racism. It's not important if you bothered by his bigotry. It's not important if you bothered by his sexism. It ain't important to me as a white man if you bothered by his lying. It ain't important to me as a white man if you bothered by all the folks in administration who have been brought up on charges, who have pled guilty, who have gone to prison. It's not important to me how many of them have been corrupt. It's not important to me if he is sitting here saying we should take out these progressive DAs who are causing problems in this country. It's not important to me if he ain't sitting here spoken out about crimes committed against black folks by cops. It's not important to me how he embraces police officers and says nothing about police brutality. It's not important to me if he told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. It's not important to me what he said in Charlottesville. There are good people on both sides. It's not important to me about any of that because what Jack Nicklaus is saying, your issues, black people, ain't my problem. What he's saying is, young folks, your issues ain't my problem. What he's saying is, as a white man, I'm focused on my stuff and your stuff don't mean a damn thing to me. The statement, Robert Patillo, by Jack Nicklaus speaks exactly to why white America voted the way they did on yesterday. And we had better come to understand that this statement right here is simply a white manifesto for the 21st century. And folk better understand what we are up against, because if you keep somehow thinking they care about racism, they don't. Jack Nicklaus says it. He says, point blank, how he has said it has not been important to me. What has been important are his actions. Robert, go ahead.
Well, you're exactly right. And let's understand something, that these people are not voting on economic issues. It's not about white economic anxiety, as they tried to write it off as after the last election, because the only finite policies that we've seen is a massive tax cut for millionaires and billionaires that doesn't affect the average white working class voter. What this is about is cultural issues. It's about the concept and the idea that they got shook. They were scared to their core when they saw that black man walk into the White House in 2009 and govern with class and dignity for 8 years. And this is that Goldwater-esque white lash to that, and a reassertion of their dominance. A majority of white people in this country voted for Donald Trump twice. They will probably vote for him again in 2024 when he runs again. This is not a defect in the system. This is not the system breaking down. This is the system operating exactly as it was built to operate, exactly as it was intended to operate. And it's our jobs to understand that and put forth policies that are not meant to comfort these quote-unquote white working class voters that are supposed to be coming back in droves to the Democratic Party, but rather pushing forward the agenda that will turn out the maximum number of minority voters and urban voters who are ready to turn out. So when you have issues with black men voting for the Democratic Party, then you need to damn well put a reparations plank in the Democratic platform, because guess what? Those same white folks you're scared that you're going to scare off from the Democratic Party by being too radical, they are already gone and they are not coming back. Double down on who you have. Put forward a policy and an agenda that will support them, and then you will not be running these razor-thin margins in states. You'll be winning by massive amounts because you will be campaigning to the people who support you already instead of trying to win back people who are already gone.
Come on now, these black men ain't voting for no damn reparations. They vote for the masculinity of Donald Trump. They are voting for his economic policies. They ain't voting for reparations, because here's the deal. Donald Trump ain't supporting no damn reparations. Mitch McConnell not supporting reparations, Monique. They ain't voting for that. What we got to understand is this here. The Republican Party has no problem being comfortable with white supremacists, and we got to understand that for Democrats, and I've heard black people say, oh, these black men, they misogynistic. Guess what? Guess what? A lot of them are misogynistic. A lot of them are patriarchal. But guess what? When you in a battle, you got to take that 18% Trump got and drop that sucker down to 10%. So you better figure out how to appeal to them. But what I'm saying is, for everybody who keeps saying, Monique, I don't understand, we didn't see this. I mean, oh my God, we thought it was totally different. No, boo, we saw it. because we saw it when Nixon was elected in 1980. We saw it when Nixon was elected in 1968. We saw it when Wilson was elected, when Hoover was elected. Hell, we saw it after Emancipation Proclamation, and we saw it and this whole time. Black folks have seen this from the beginning of time when we were here. This ain't new to us. What has to happen, Monique, is we need white folks to look at white folks and say, what the hell is wrong with your ass?
Right. And it's not just that we've seen it, it's that we've lived it. So it can't be a surprise when it is our shared experience, as I was talking about earlier. There are things that we've gone through, and you can name any president, as far as I'm concerned, up to and including Donald J. Trump. And that has been our experience. And that's why when I'm seeing even Black organizers and leaders being disappointed in this being a fight, being a dogfight, being, a razor to the finish type of contest, I'm like, well, where have you been? Because I'm in the United States of America and I know where I am. And I know what this country has been from the first time the slave ships landed until now. And it's been consistent. And the people who have been in the minority are the ones who thankfully founded the country with legal standards for what we should be. And then the remnant. It's always only been a remnant. It's never been a majority. And so when we're talking about conversion, I'm a preacher, so I'm trying to evangelize now. When you're talking about conversion, you're looking for a few, and then you're trying to hold on to your own. So yes, we do have to deal with what's going on with Black men. We do have to deal with, if we're going to be a Black and brown coalition, what's going on with Latinos. But I'm here to tell you, the white folks that aren't with me, they're probably not going to be with me over the next 4 years because I'm out of conversation for you. I've tried it. And I listened to you even through this election after I was done talking. And every time you told me the economy, I know it's a lie. And every time you told me it's about immigration, I know it's a lie. And every time you told me it's about our cultural way of life, I'm like, okay, we getting closer. Because what you're really saying is, I am supreme and I want to reign supreme. Even if I reign supreme from my trailer park while you are in your $1 million house in the suburbs, I'm better than you because Donald Trump says that I'm better than you, that I have some positioning that is hearkening to the days gone by of the 50s that this country no longer is. And so I can at least think I'm good. Even if I'm in the mud and in the gutter, I'm better than everybody else that's in the sludge. That was what he sold, snake oil salesman that he is. And that is what we're up against. But that's not my job. My job was to do what Black women do, and I did it. So I'm just saying, a preacher can only go but so far.
Scott,
people, get your people.
Scott, final comment.
You got to be relevant to be valued by anybody. And with white people, Black people have never been valued for equality, whether you're in a big corporation or whether you work in a blue-collar job, right? The comparatives is that I'm not valued with the same statistics at a big law firm than my white counterpart. We can have the same statistics, but so often we're not valued enough to say you ought to be paid X, Y, and Z. Or even in the blue-collar work, you're not valued, so we're going to pay you differently. Black people don't have to be relevant to white people because most white people don't live or deal with racism on a daily basis. If you ask somebody white, where is racism on your day-to-day issues? It doesn't make the top 10. If you ask me or you or anyone else, where does racism fit on the list of issues on a day-to-day issue for you as an African American? It's in the top 3 because we're reminded of it all the time. And so you're right, this isn't anything new, but we get caught up. Sometimes we forget as a group that it's there. We tend to think in freedom, justice, and equality, and we're going to strive for it, but it's never left us. And we forget, or we act like we forget because we have an expectation of equality. The more educated we are, or the further we get on the socioeconomic ladder. We can never forget.
Final comment, Teresa.
Since we can never forget, we have to do better. And that means consistent dialogue. That means effective policies. That means looking at leadership a little differently and putting those in who have the same vision and best practice solutions. So by ensuring that they can strengthen communities and broaden the conversation, we definitely have to hold our leadership accountable, but also making sure that white people are doing their part if they say they love America and everything in it. We just can't use Black and brown people just to serve, but we have to use them in the ability of what they are strong in, which is our ability to lead.
Robert, final comment.
Well, I think the most important thing for us to do is understand that the election was not the end; it was the beginning. And so now that let's say these things hold and that Joe Biden's inaugurated, we know the Senate composition is going to be, for the most part, we'll know after the runoffs. We know the House composition is going to be. Now it's time to start having those conversations they told Ice Cube to wait till after the election to have, and that we push forward this agenda that is meant to help our community because we put the sweat equity in. We did everything we were supposed to do. So now there's no excuse for saying that we have to wait till the next election or wait till after any other group. This is the time to show and deliver.
Let's see. Well, I didn't tell Monique her final comment. Go ahead, make a final comment.
My only final comment is, you know what? Keep the faith, everybody. It's been a hard-fought battle, and for some of us, it's been harder than expected. But victory is assured, and all that victory means, as Robert just said, is we live to fight another day. Is the Biden-Harris ticket perfect? No, humans aren't perfect. But right now, the job is getting them elected. And then the minute that they are, we hold them accountable. I am proud of my Black women sisters. I'm proud of Black men. I'm proud of our allies who have stood up for us in what has been a perpetual fight from the Emancipation Proclamation forward. And I am thankful that we are further today on the journey, even though we have a long way to go.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, the folks at Seek.com, Black-owned company founded by Mary Spio. They, of course, a virtual reality company. You can check out their content at Seek.com, CEEK.com. You can do so, of course, with these VR headsets. You can look at it, of course, on your regular device or your pad or your computer. But if you want to experience being in the room, you can use this headset right here. All you simply do is just pop in your cell phone in here, pop it on, and then put this headset on, and you can literally experience their content in virtual reality. And so allows for you to do a 360-degree view of the room. But also, folks, they have the 360-degree 4D headphones right here. These are Bluetooth headphones. They have complete surround sound in terms of as you hear the particular music. Gamers love them as well when they're playing their games. And so it's just phenomenal bass in these headphones as well. You can get one or both devices at Seek.com using this promo code RMVIP 2020, RMVIP 2020. So we certainly thank the folks at Seek.com for being a partner with us here at Roland Martin Unfiltered. All right. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. It's amazing to watch these white progressives, these Bernie people, bitch and moan, crying today. Oh my God, we lost 5 House seats and we didn't win the Senate. And first of all, you get a net pickup in the Senate. And all this sort of stuff. And I said to them white folks, I said, listen up all y'all. I got time for your asses today. I said, because black people are saving your asses right now. Black people in Milwaukee, black people in Detroit, black people in Philly, black people in Atlanta. And then they came in with this BS, Greg, talking about, voters from a red state picked our president. I said, I ain't gonna let your punk asses talk about black people from South Carolina. I said, because right now, and in fact, North Carolina is still in the game as well, and that's due to a huge, large black. And so what we as black people are fighting, the racists on the Republican side and the punk-ass white Democrats who want a perfect party, but then again, they want us to be the political sharecroppers, and they want to whine and complain, but the only reason there will be a Democratic president and vice president is because black people saved their asses.
It's true, brother. And I was so glad you had Reverend Jackson on the other night. He should be featured everywhere. But of course, we can set aside white commercial and news entertainment media. There's one story. There's one lead story in this election. It's the same lead story that has been the case since 1968, the last time white people voted for a Democrat. Umair Haig wrote an article today, said that white America wants America to be a failed state. And then he listed all the things that, if you go by the majority that votes a Republican in every presidential election since 1968, after 1968, he says they are for billionaires, inequality, guns, religion, intolerance, state violence. They are against desegregation, civil rights, women's rights, health care, retirement, child care, public services, infrastructure. The lead story of this election is that white people have once again shown that they picked their whiteness over their lives. Black people did not save democracy. Our Spanish-speaking kindred out there in Nevada and in Arizona did not save democracy. We did what we always do. We voted in our interests. And now we should take this moment, set Democrat and Republican aside forever, and think about this in terms of what is in our best interest, and then game that out in 24-month increments. In 24 months, the Senate, a third of the Senate's going to come up. Byrd said he's not going to run in North Carolina. Let's get that seat. Ohio, Pennsylvania, Toomey, wipe him out. Wisconsin, Ron Johnson, voted by a squeaker. Wisconsin has shown if you get arrested, you can do it. Get him out. Lil Marco, you've already said you're going to go out there and make sure he gets retired in Florida. Lisa Murkowski, under 50% in Alaska, and finally Todd Young in Indiana. Those are the leading ones to take out. Last thing I'll say initially as we had this conversation, because this is the only thing to be talking about at this point, is our strategy to help ourselves, is this. The first 2 years of Biden-Harris, even if Warnock and Ossoff get in, it's going to really be driven probably by executive orders. Yep. Because we know we can't trust Manchin. We know we probably can't trust Kelly in Arizona. He's only there for a couple of years till he gets to go back for the full term. And then, so we need to already be planning how to expand the electorate. Follow what Ilhan Omar did in Minnesota. Follow what some of these people have done. Go get those people who haven't voted. And then in 2024, get that Senate flip. And then coming forward for 2022, rather. I keep saying 24. And then in 2024, expand the electorate again. Because this was the most people who voted in an American election in over 100 years. And it was black and brown people that put ourselves in a position to continue to advance our interests. Because white people have shown us what their interest is.
It's just very interesting, Reese. Just looking at these whiners. Oh my God, Bernie would have just beaten everybody. He lost. He lost twice. Couldn't get black votes. He lost. Okay? I would have loved for Reverend Jackson to have won in 84 and 88. But I'm not sitting here going, oh my God, but Reverend would have beat Michael Dukakis. No, look, he didn't win. And these people are, and what gets me is, we're literally sitting here. Biden hits 270. He would have flipped 5 damn Trump states. How do you overlook? He is on the verge of winning Georgia. But these white progressives, oh my God, I'm sorry, you can't put that one on black people. We ain't in Maine. You know what? Let's just go on down the line. We ain't in Maine. We not in Iowa. We saved Peter's ass in Michigan. It ain't our fault dumbass Cal Cunningham was sexting with a woman in California.
Right.
Okay. Arizona, Latinos, big backing for Mark Kelly. Whites and blacks and others there in Colorado, both those flipped. Harrison in a deep red state. Espy gave it the best shot. Perkins in Louisiana, hardcore right state, Louisiana, right state, Mississippi, right state, South Carolina. You take Texas, all right. Royce West lost by 30,000 votes to Hagar, a former Republican, who the DSCC got behind, supported her. She got her ass whooped by 10 points. So it's like to the white progressives, this on y'all.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, I've been battling with these people because I was a Kamala Harris supporter from day one. And so I know firsthand that they have been, at least, let me just say, propaganda and messaging wise, the most destructive aspect of this entire election cycle. They did a number on Joe Biden and Kamala Harris long before the Republicans even got it started on them. I mean, if you look at outlets like Jacobin and The Intercept and all of these Bernie aligned, let me just say, put it that way to put it nicely, outlets ran hit piece after hit piece to try to prop up Bernie. And, unfortunately in Senator Kamala Harris's case, she never really did an adequate job of tackling the smears and the disinformation as you all laid out in the prior segment. Joe Biden completely conceded the crime bill argument. And so that really, they had a couple of years head start working down the image and propagating this propaganda against the people on the ticket, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Despite that, we still look to be, we're on the brink of victory. It's bittersweet because, obviously, this country is super racist and they've double, triple, quadruple down on racism. That's not a surprise, particularly to Dr. Carr, who I have to say, Dr. Carr, you and Roland and Erica, y'all had it right. I shouldn't have had no faith in none of these polls and none of these white people, but I did. I was like, I'm a data girl, and, I think that the data is saying X, Y, and Z, and white folks is lying the whole damn time. So that was my bad. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on. So whatever. Okay, that's fine. I won't be making that mistake again. But anyway, the moral of the story is we have a white supremacy problem in the white progressive wing of the party. They want black people to be the mules of the white progressive movement. White progressives have Columbused black progressive policies like Medicare for All, which is what John Conyers was the first introduced for that. And he had been introducing it for decades before Bernie Sanders ever became sponsored. Bernie Sanders first sponsored it in 2016. That was the first time Bernie Sanders had ever sponsored Medicare for All. John Conyers had been doing it all the way up until then. And they have co-opted what progressive is, and then they turn around and shit on the black electeds and call them neoliberal corporate shields and establishment and every other kind of insult outside of the sun. And so white progressive power is still about white power, okay? It's about, I'm white and I want free, I don't want to pay student loans, I want health care, and I want this, that, and the other, and racism doesn't matter. It's all about economics. That's what their agenda is. I almost shouldn't say all, but that's been my experience. And so they have no credibility to lecture or wag their finger at anybody because a lot of the damage was done by them. And I agree with the prior segment you did with Terrence. We're now going to have to spend the next 2 years trying to undo some of that damage between what the Republicans and the white progressive movement, air quotes, has done to the Democratic Party. And I know that they're trying to use this as some sort of referendum against the people who just got the most votes in U.S. history. That's backwards, but that's what they're trying to do. But we're not going to let them. And black people, we are, as Dr. Carr said, we're going to make sure that we get a return on our investment this time because we're the ones who are going to tip the scales in a way that if we had relied on black white people, the white suburban, the wine moms, as they're trying to say it in Pennsylvania, we would have been screwed.
Erica?
Listen, amen to everything my sister Reese just said and laid out, and amen to everything that Dr. Carr has said. I think the only thing that I'll really add to this conversation is that when you're talking about how black folks, black women and men have been doing the work of building coalitions, of holding some semblance of democracy together in this country. We talked about this on Tuesday when I lifted for Stacey Abrams' name. The former Secretary of State, because I'm not saying he's governor because he stole the election in Georgia. The former Secretary of State, Brian Kemp, during the time that he was Secretary of State, really worked against what Stacey Abrams stepped forward to do, which was to get Georgians registered. And through her work through Fair Fight Action, through her work through the New Georgia Project, and really making sure that Georgia abided by the Voter Act, which would allow people who are seeking assistance, who are going up to the DMV to automatically register to vote, that during that same time, 2014, 2016, that he was working against Stacey Abrams and actually purging the rolls. And so when you think about Black folks actually building ahead of time to ensure that when we come to a place where we actually absolutely need max turnout, that lays to bear at the hands and the feet of Black people. So all of these gains that we're seeing, the races being so tight, you can trace those back to grassroots organizations, mostly led by Black folks, who are also seeing that, listen, these are dangerous people and dangerous policies that are going to harm us. The way that we'll be able to activate and have some seat at the table, be able to move forward, is to get voters registered. So really kind of what we're seeing through this process is not a surprise to me. White and then that whole kind of progressive tag, I'm not with it. I'm not buying it, because as the data has bared out, as Reese has shared with us and Terrence shared with us, and as Dr. Carr laid out, the proof is in the pudding. Dr. Avis often references a report that talked about how there was a choice between whiteness and actually equity, that white people overwhelmingly chose whiteness, and they're going to continue to do that.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, the folks at Seek.com, Black-owned company founded by Mary Spio. They, of course, a virtual reality company. You can check out their content at Seek.com, CEEK.com. You can do so, of course, with these VR headsets. You can look at it, of course, on your regular device or your pad or your computer. But if you want to experience being in the room, you can use this headset right here. All you simply do is just pop in your cell phone in here, pop it on, and then put this headset on, and you can literally experience their content in virtual reality. And so allows for you to do a 360-degree view of the room. But also, folks, they have the 360-degree 4D headphones right here. These are Bluetooth headphones. They have complete surround sound in terms of as you hear the particular music. Gamers love them as well when they're playing their games. And so it's just phenomenal bass in these headphones as well. You can get one or both devices at Seek.com using this promo code RMVIP 2020, RMVIP 2020. So we certainly thank the folks at Seek.com for being a partner with us here at Roland Martin Unfiltered. All right. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Hey, let's go right now to Terrence Woodbury. He is the founding partner for Hit Strategies. He joins us right now in Roland Martin Unfiltered. So, Terrence, here's the deal. It's very interesting. All of these people, oh my God, the polls were wrong. The polls were wrong, and they were showing Biden with this huge lead, and he was supposed to be leading by 5 in Florida, and he was leading by 7 in Pennsylvania, and was leading in Michigan by 12 and 14. He was leading in Wisconsin and all different places. And I kept saying, don't trust white people in these polls.
That's exactly what we're dealing with right now, Roland. You know, one thing that we learned is in 2016 is that Donald Trump has a superpower at surging non-college educated white voters. And he's done it once again. You know, we've seen, we knew going into this on election day that turnout had been higher than than anyone could have imagined. That has a tendency to disrupt polling. And just so I can kind of put folks at ease about polling a little bit, you know, polling is really a prediction, a snapshot of what we expect a certain universe to do. Well, the thing that happened with massive turnout here is that universe looks very different than anyone expected. And frankly, Donald Trump once again surged white people. But But another thing happened, Roland, and this is to your point, is that a lot of voters were not that honest with us. This is something I'm struggling with, is that, white millennials and white Gen Z, younger white voters vote a lot more like white people than they do like young people. And that is to say that Donald Trump won almost half of white millennials and white Gen Z. In Georgia, he won 63% of white people under the age of 39. Those are numbers that make it very hard for Democrats to recognize the benefits of diversity shifts.
And that's the thing that I have been trying to explain to people. People go, oh no, but the next generation, they're still white.
That's right. Roland, I've been trying to accept the fact that maybe racism is hereditary. The way that these young folks have participated in this election. I mean, young people who overwhelmingly support, improving or reducing climate change. Young people who overwhelmingly support transparency in government and immigration reform. I mean, these are young people who are on the Democratic side of most issues, and they still voted for Donald Trump. That tells me that tribalism is just as live and just as well in the younger generation as it is in their predecessors.
And that's the thing there, Terrence, that people don't quite understand. And what I mean they don't understand that is that when you factor in, people were thinking, oh, young voters are going to break Joe Biden's way. They are just repulsed by the racism of Donald Trump. No. Whiteness is at play. They're overlooking it. They're excusing it. They're voting according to their peers, to their parents, things along those lines. And so what does that tell you? What it tells you is that, from the Democratic side, the white population is shrinking. Even with these white millennials and white Gen Zers, the population is shrinking. Whites are dying. The white annual death rate in about 10 or 12 states is higher than the annual white birth rate. And so what that means is that if you're Democrats, in order for you to win, what you're going to have to do is accept the reality you're not going to get a majority of white women.
That's right.
Okay? So you need to accept the fact that you're going to get 45, max 47% of white women. The other white women are going to go with the Republican. Okay? You're not going to get white men. So what you have to do is you got to say, here's my percentage of white women, here's my percentage of white men, and I'm going to have to be very aggressive. And aggressive means spending money.
That's right.
Resources on black organizations, Latino organizations, and within black, you got to have targeted messaging for black women, older black women, middle-aged black women, younger black women, not the same message. Black women with college degrees, black women without college degrees, black people in rural parts of the country, black folks who are in cities. Then you got to have a separate targeted, micro-targeting message to black men with degree, without degree, blue collar, high school dropouts. You got to go through the whole gamut. And I think the problem has been they've been so used to saying one message for black people, one message for Latinos. I can pop by a couple of barbershops. I can create that sort of conversation. There you go. Nope, not anymore.
That's exactly right, Roland. Look, man, during the summer, we all looked at the what I call like the changing complexion of the protests. There was one time over the summer that I actually declared to the Washington Post that the movement for Black lives had evolved from a movement of black people versus the police to a movement of young people versus racism. And the reason I said that, Roland, is because the majority of protesters were white. 54% of protesters were white. 18% were black. 11% were Latinx. But 85% of protesters were under the age of 39. To me, that represented a generational shift, a generation that was ready to turn the page on racism, as ambitious as that is, but to actually begin the tough process of healing, and that white Gen Z and white millennials would be a part of this healing as opposed to on the other side of that picket line. And frankly, Roland, we just learned in this election that is just not the way this is shaking out. That when it comes to voting for their interests, They are voting in the interest of white people and not in the interest of young people. Voting in the interest of young people is voting to reduce college debt. It's voting to improve the environment. It's voting it's voting for a more inclusive policy that's more representative of younger generation. Millennials are the first majority minority generation. And I think when we start talking about how demographics are destiny, it's not because of, some large swarm of young white voters are somehow becoming more progressive or swinging to the left, although their policies and their issues suggest that they are. But it means that there's just less of them. It means that the majority of people under the age of 35 are not white. And that demographic can become destiny for Democrats if they lean in there, if they go and activate those black and brown voters that for far too long have been on the political sidelines because they don't feel represented. Not just in the Democratic Party, they don't feel represented in the political system. And that is why Donald Trump was able to exploit that cynicism and exploit that frustration that black men have. And young black voters under the age of 39, also 18% supported Donald Trump. He was able to exploit some real fissures there within the black community that have been expressed through their cynicism towards Democrats. You're right, Roland. We got a lot of work to do, and it's not a one size fits all. We're going to have to go in and do some serious soul searching and figure out how do we connect to a group that feels disaffected by the system.
But here's what he also did. He kept lying, and there was so much disinformation that folks were believing it. I had an artist who gave me a call. Dude, I was on the phone with a guy, a producer, for 1 hour and 11 minutes, who threw out every lie to me, and I was like, bruh, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. And so what I kept arguing from a Democratic standpoint, they never properly countered the lies.
That's right.
Here's what people say. Oh, I'm not going to sit here and fight the lies because it's just playing their game. There's a reason why on this show, black conservatives who support Trump hate coming on here, because I won't let them lie. And the reason I won't let them lie is because I cannot allow anybody watching this show who sees a clip on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or Twitter and they see the lie and it goes unresponded. No, my deal is you got to stop the lie. The moment it's said, I'm like, I'm going to let you finish. But what you just said is a lie, and it's not going to let you get away with it. And they let Donald Trump lie. Criminal justice reform, lie. Obama did nothing. Biden did nothing. I came in. They did nothing. They couldn't get anything done. And at no point the Democrats say, who the hell got it passed in the House? Democrats.
I mean, Roland, you should hear how many black men I sit in focus groups with that tell me that they're supporting Donald Trump because he did criminal justice reform or because he got black folks out of jail. Donald Trump pardoned exactly 8 black people. 8. The Obama-Biden administration pardoned 200 times more black people than that. I mean, this is just, we never corrected the record, Roland. And frankly, when you allow those seeds to be planted, those seeds of doubt and those lies are being planted on fertile ground of a lot of brothers who already feel cynical towards the system, right? And so when we let that fester and marinate, the work that we have to go back and do now to unprogram those lies is so much harder than the work that we can do if we just come in early and deliver a message that resonates to them. So I mean, Roland, we got some work to do here, man. And I am not going to allow the progressive left. I mean, the way that they are already beginning to question how could black men support an open racist. Well, I've been telling y'all for 6 months how they could do it.
Hold on. First of all, here's the whole deal. Let's just be real clear. To facts to laid out. The 2 groups that voted at the highest percent against Trump.
That's right.
Black women, black men.
That's right.
I need everybody who's watching, okay?
Wait, let's be very clear.
Go ahead.
The only reason since Election Day, the only reason that Donald Trump has been rejected the White House is because of Atlanta and Philly and Milwaukee and Detroit. They are counting black votes right now. It is a resounding rejection of black voters who 90% have disapproved of Donald Trump since the day he was elected. I mean, I've been calling it the black clapback. Black folks clapped back, and with a resounding rejection, they have denied him a second term. Black folks have to get credit for that. Black folks have to get credit for ensuring that he got the nomination, and now have to get credit for ensuring that he won that Oval Office. And when I say get credit, Roland, I'm talking about the first 100-day agenda. I want to see what they're going to do now to deliver on the investment that black folks have made into this administration.
Well, but see, on that particular point there, and we're going to get to a little bit later, which is why I keep explaining to people why we got to go hard on the 2 runoff races in Georgia. Because it's very simple, and I'll unpack it later. But again, that's going to be critical in terms of for that agenda. What from an exit polling, is there anything else that we need to know and understand about African Americans that the exit polling data revealed?
I mean, it's what we just talked about. But black voters were overwhelmingly motivated in this election to remove Donald Trump. That was the overwhelming motivating factor. But another thing that we found that is, 89% of black voters were also enthusiastic and excited to make history by voting for Kamala Harris. This election, man. I mean, I am concerned about what to expect over the next 24 to 72 hours. I am concerned about how Donald Trump can sow these seeds of doubt and question the integrity of our election. Because look, man, I've told you this before. I still hear about hanging dimple chads in Florida from the Bush-Gore election from 20 years ago, from voters that weren't even alive during hanging dimple chads. What he can do, the doubt that he can sow over the next couple of days of saying that all of this was fraud and your votes aren't getting counted and there's ballots in the damn river, this damage is irreparable. It takes years to undo, sometimes generations to undo this. So we got a lot of black folks engaged and surged to send a message, not just to Donald Trump, but to Trumpism, to racism, not on our watch. That surge was led primarily by black seniors who turned out in overwhelming numbers. Black seniors got a bit more of an intimate relationship with racism than some of these young black folks that chose to vote for Donald Trump. They hear those dog whistles and are reminded of things that they've seen and things that they've heard from their past. And so black seniors really, really clapped back here. But overwhelmingly, it was the black community that rejected Donald Trump a second term, and that was excited to make history here. And I think both of those things are going to have to produce some returns for the black community.
Well, first of all, I'm just sitting there cracking up laughing, looking at all the racist trolls who are on my YouTube channel. And they're whining and complaining. And I always know when they start bringing up the 1994 crime bill. Because here's what's interesting. They act as if in subsequent years there were also not legislative fixes when it came to that. One of the first bills Obama signed was a criminal justice reform bill. One of the first bills he actually signed. But
like you said, Roland, this is a part of not correcting the record. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris had to take on the responsibility of getting out here and telling people what they have done to correct the criminal justice system. And they both have. They both have records that they could talk about. Instead, they kind of, I guess, hope folks like you carry that water for them.
And again, it's idiotic because they're the ones who are getting attacked because of the record. One of the things that it was very interesting to me, before I came in, I was watching Nicole Wallace. The TV was on. I had taken a nap, and it was on. And they were talking about, well, I think we may have missed some things here that a lot of people people want to get back to normal with coronavirus, and they were going through this whole deal, and I was like, what the hell are y'all talking about? No, here's what happened. Donald Trump sowed seeds of discontent. He took the whole fake news thing. Kellyanne Conway took the whole alternative facts thing.
That's right.
And what they did was they said, don't believe anything. And all of these people, I mean, I think people got to understand, Republican voters, Donald Trump voters, are in a cult. He told them, don't mail in votes. They didn't.
That's right.
They showed up on election day. And so it's no shock to me that they would have a different view and believed his lies about the coronavirus, that we're rounding the corner. And so they're saying, but this should have been a blowout because of coronavirus. He convinced half of the people it wasn't no big deal. They act like these people who were going to rallies with no mask on and who were saying, well, if I die, I die, just somehow were just the crazies. No, it was a lot of Republicans who were doing it. So if you sow seeds of discontent for almost 4 years, guess what? They're not going to believe an alternative view, which means you were never going to have some big Biden blowout.
That's right. That's exactly right, man. I mean, look, I think that the difference and the proposition between Joe Biden and Donald Trump could not have been more clear. And half of America wanted to continue the reckless neglect that we've experienced in the last 4 years. I mean, half of the country wants to reject that systemic racism even exists. Half of the country wants to continue rampant corruption in the White House. I mean, this man was impeached, Roland. This man was impeached, and half of the country is still embracing him. The fact that racism can become a partisan issue in 2020, as partisan as it exists or it doesn't, and half of the country is willing to endorse and support and embrace that racism does not even exist in America. I mean, we have to confront not just defeating Donald Trump, but we're going to have to confront Trumpism and what he has amplified.
And Trump is and actually we got to stop saying Trumpism. That's Republican Party. No, it's not an individual. They have fully embraced his overt bigotry, his overt nastiness with Muslims, with so many others. No, this ain't Trump. And Biden got to stop that crap. This is the party. They ain't changing. What they've witnessed is, yo, we can do this and it's not going to hurt us.
We could just say it out loud.
Yep.
Because they've been doing it, brother. I mean, this is, I see a Biden victory on the horizon, and I still feel very despondent. I'm still very, very concerned about the future of this country. One, because, we still have to deal with the half of the country that is going to deny the reality of this election. And two, is because we still have to deal with Donald Trump. He's not disappearing on January 20th. And so he still has these Twitter fingers that can create havoc and dissension and division. I mean, I'm very concerned about this country, but I'll tell you this, Roland, I'm very likely moving to Georgia if it means denying Mitch McConnell that goddamn gavel in the Senate.
Oh, well, first of all, I've already been, we're already making plans to spend lots of time in Georgia in November and December for the January 5th race, so that's going to happen. Terrence Woodbury, we really appreciate it, man. Thanks.
All right, folks, thank you so much, Roland. Video in just one moment.
All right, the folks at Seek.com, black-owned company founded by Mary Spio. They, of course, a virtual reality company. You can check out their content at Seek.com, Seek.com. You can do so, of course, with these VR headsets. You can look at it, of course, on your regular device or your pad or your computer. But if you want to experience being in the room, you can use this headset right here. All you simply do is just pop in your cell phone in here, pop it on, and then put this headset on, and you can literally experience their content in virtual reality. reality. And so allows for you to do a 360-degree view of the room. But also, folks, they have the 360-degree 4D headphones right here. These are Bluetooth headphones. They have complete surround sound in terms of as you hear the particular music. Gamers love them as well when they're playing their games. And so it's just phenomenal bass in these headphones as well. You can get one or both devices at seek.com using this promo code RMVIP2020, RMVIP2020. So we certainly thank the folks at seek.com for being a partner with us here at Roland Martin Unfiltered. All right.